So, hey, you ever have a day where your hair just like whatever you do, it does exactly what you don't want it to do? This curl right here is just, we're just gonna have to deal with it. We're just gonna have to deal with it for tonight. I am a sad panda bear tonight because of Little Miss Ruthie. Yeah, that one kind of came out of nowhere, and I would not wish the experience of telling your child that their dog died on anyone. That that sucked big time. He's doing okay. My brother is taking him out early in the morning to go fishing, so that'll be good for both of them. Yeah, on the drive home today from picking them up from school, I got the text message from the vet that her ashes and her paw print were ready to pick up, and I'm not ready for that. I just stopped crying, so let's put a pause on that for the weekend. So, while I'm putting a pause on all the tears, I thought I'd answer some questions that came up about the last video. So first off, what excites me about this whole thing, the reason that I think all of this is so radical is if I wasn't so focused on the school and gaining ownership of the school, I never would have been at that board meeting. If I never would have been at that board meeting, I never would have met these people. I don't know, okay, at the very beginning of all this, when I got the notice that I needed to find a new place of residence, and I said to the universe, I just need safe, affordable housing for me, my kids, and my animals. The story that I made up in my head was that I needed to find an Aunt Betty. Fishing equipment is currently being gathered to not disturb anyone in the wee hours of the morning. Okay, so an Aunt Betty in my head is like some old person who lives out in the country that probably a spinster, which same. I mean, I know I have kids, but like not that way, you know? So it's someone out in the country that doesn't really have direct relatives, but has extended family that's like, Aunt Betty, you really can't be living out in the country anymore. You really need to move to town. And they've just been holding on. They don't want to leave their little country house. And then they come upon this witchy woman, and they're like, oh, I've just been waiting for another witchy woman to be able to pass this on to just know that you're going to take care of it. Not like free of charge and all of that, but just like to let something go, to know you're going to take care of it, you're going to treat it the way I want it to be treated, and we're going to figure it out financial wise, but that's not my big priority. I just want to make sure that this place is being taken care of. So I don't know. I mean, at first I thought maybe this school was my Aunt Betty, but now I don't know if this land is my Aunt Betty. These guys seem like an Aunt Betty. I mean, they don't need to move, but they have this land that they just want to make sure is taken care of and treated the way that they want it to be treated. We shall see. What is so cool to me about it, regardless of all of that, is that we would not have met if I had not continued to follow these steps. And the eagles, I can't. When I walked in that house, it was literally like the walls were glowing at me. They weren't, but they were. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. I didn't mean that to sound as cryptic as it did. I'm trying really hard not to be sad. I mean, not to not be sad, but to not get enveloped in the sadness, because I tend to do that. Any feeling that I have, I just feel it all the way, man. Good, bad, ugly, in between. I don't think there are bad feelings. I think all feelings are important. They're giving us information about something. But I need to not go into a cave of sadness because I've been trying real hard to dig out of one. So, to not go into the cave of sadness, I'm answering some questions that people had. The rent-to-own land thing. Oh, wait. The first question was if there's buildings on the land. There is one old shed, and that is it. It could be used as storage. What was the thing that they called that rent-to-own thing for the land? Was it a land contract? Land contract. That's what we're talking about. So he looked at me and he said he owned it outright and he doesn't need the money and he just wants to make sure that people treat it how he wants it to be treated. He did say he wants to make sure whoever puts in a basement. But he looked at me and he said we could do a 10-year contract. And then he looked me straight in the eyes and he was like, Jocelyn, I'm in my 80s. I don't need the money. A 10-year contract. And I was like, that's sad to think about, but I got you. Poor little Phoenix, scared of the toaster. It's been a big week for the dogs in our house.
I know.
Poor little babies. So land contract, no buildings. There was another question. Hang on, I gotta look it up. So yes, we would have to build. And I don't know what we would build, but that's the thing. We could build anything. For current housing, the girlfriend, while we were driving out, she pointed out 2 vacant houses just right at the end of the block. One of them was smaller. I think the one only had 1 story.
Yeah.
But then the other one was big. It was bigger than our house. And they're both vacant. I don't know. I'm going to ask them the details on if they know the owners, if they're for rent. But the other thing we've been looking at is, at least for the summer, not none of it would be for permanent, but temporary housing while we're building permanent housing, right? While I'm able to afford things, being able to add things, being able to rebuild myself financially in some temporary housing and then be able to move forward with, first thing would be putting in a basement and then building whatever we want on top of that. So so we've been looking at RVs, just to move in a couple of RVs. There's a whole bunch of RVs that we're finding online for really, really affordable prices. And I say a couple because I have 2 adult children and I don't know how much they would want to be hanging out with all 5 of us all together, all in the same space. That would be a lot. I mean, granted, there's a lot of work to be done to the land anyway, but that would be a lot for all of us. So some people have mentioned building tiny homes, kind of like pods. I mean, all of my children are older, kind of like having a small house as like kind of like a main like headquarters with kitchen, master bedroom, main bathroom, stuff like that, and then like little pods separate from that, which kind of is a cool idea and adds to that kind of as I can afford it, then I can build it, and everybody would seriously have their own space. I do want to have a space for a studio. I haven't really been able to have that since I became a parent. A dedicated space for my pottery studio. That was my specialty in my undergrad, was ceramic art. And to be able to put in a kiln outdoors, like there's space for all of it. I could do whatever I want. My dad has always wanted to build hobbit holes. That's an option. I don't know how feasible of an option it is. There's just so many options. Mostly what I'm looking at as a realistic option is kind of like what are they called? Prefab? Prefab homes? Like yeah, kind of modular, but they're DIY. There was one that I was looking at this morning, and it's called like barn-dominium. They look super cool.
Yeah, my first moving job, I worked in a barn-dominium, and they're beautiful, man.
And then there was barn-dominiums and there were shouses, a shed house.
I've seen those.
But the barn-dominium looks really cool. So again, that would be like long term. So we kind of have to have a dual plan of short term and long term. I'll show you pictures, or Andrew can show you some pictures. They're super cool.
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri. They're very affordable. Barndominiums are very affordable. I mean, when you have some financial footing under you. Not for me right now, but in the future. And like, there's these like, the barndominium would be like a final
So essentially,
final version, final draft of a house.
is people just find old barns for like a few hundred to a few thousand and turn them into a house.
And also consider, Caden, like, you're a junior in high school now. Well, you're finishing up your junior year now, right? And you're my second youngest. Zayden's finishing up his freshman year. In 3 years, I mean, yeah, you guys can like always come home and stuff like that, but in 3 years, I'm gonna be an empty nester. And like, so that's another thing I'm considering is my long term. Not that I'm not considering you, but that, like, how do I explain it? I'm thinking of like something that I can retire in, right? Am I making sense? Okay.
That old timer did, because I worked. We were moving stuff in and out, and yeah, it was just his little retirement place for the summer,
Yeah.
and it was beautiful.
Yeah. So a place where I can have goats and little mini Highland cows and my chickens and my ducks and my geese and my dogs and my cats. Oh, we're calling Biomom. Sorry. Not that I'm close to retirement age. I mean, my kids would say I'm older than dirt. I'm pretty much the age of dinosaurs, but I think I'm still pretty young. I'm in my 30s. Have fun talking to your mom. Okay, love you, bye. He wants privacy. I don't blame him. I didn't mean to make that weird. I make everything weird. What was I talking about? I've been all over the place. So sorry. Yeah, so we could build whatever we want. It's an evening in the Sloan house. Let me know if you guys have any ideas of affordable but cool housing options. Yeah, so we're looking at short-term, possibly RVs we can move in on the space, or possibly renting one of those vacant homes if we can figure that out. While I don't know why I say we, I have to rebuild financially, so then we can physically build. This summer, it sounds like is going to be a lot if we move forward on this property, right? I don't know if this is our Aunt Betty or if they're going to lead us to our Aunt Betty, but we're going to find our Aunt Betty. We are. I just believe it. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I do. I believe it. These guys are so cool. I like meeting them instantly. I was like, okay, like that. What is it? Did we just become best friends?
That's kind of what it felt like. He was selling me the car.
Yeah, right? And like, oh my goodness. Oh, and all his artwork and the way the lady was just like flitting around. It was just like, yep, you're our kind of people.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. So, we're excited. Again, let me know if you have any ideas for temporary housing. One of the other things that's super cool is in the middle of the property, there are huge blackberry bushes. Doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but for the Sloan family, there is not a long history, but an important history of blackberry bushes among my family of origin with blackberry bushes. So I'm excited about that. Because, like, how often do you walk onto a property, at least in the Midwest, in the rural Midwest, it's not common to just walk onto a vacant lot and there's blackberry bushes growing. That's not common, but there are there, and I'm excited. Okay, again, let me know if you have any ideas. I've been all over the place tonight. Thanks for hanging in there with me. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. Thanks for all the love. Peace out.